Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and it's a pleasure to follow my honourable friend, the honourable member for Easington. Half of everyone in the UK will develop cancer at some stage in their lives, and a quarter of us will receive radiotherapy treatment. Radiotherapy is highly effective treatment, especially when compared to other therapies, and given that survival rates improve by 16% compared with just 2% for other therapies like chemotherapy. And this is important because the UK has the second worst survival rates for lung cancer in Europe, and we lag behind the European average in 9 out of 10 cancers. And we know our population is ageing, and more our lifestyle choices are detrimental to our health. And this means that over the next 6 years, cancer rates are expected to increase by a quarter. And so ensuring we get cancer treatment right is of fundamental importance. And the government is making progress in this area. Since 2010, rates of cancer survival have increased year on year. It's thought there are already 7,000 people alive today who would not otherwise have been. And the NHS long-term plan has set out a way to ensure future radiotherapy treatment will be faster, smarter and more effective. Although a welcome strategy, the APPG for radiotherapy have been looking into the detail, and we have highlighted some pressing issues which we look forward to being published in due course. There are some serious workforce shortages, as has been mentioned. For example, radiotherapy clinical scientists have a current vacancy rate of 8%, and we need to take swift action to address this, specifically to support the education and training programmes that feed the pipeline of talent. Currently, there are only 10 therapeutic radiotherapy degree programmes in England, and this will soon reduce to 9, as one in very close to me in Portsmouth is due to close soon. Since 2016, entry-level training for this industry has fallen by 23%, and since the loss of the bursary last year, only 240 students undertook this training. And therefore, I hope the Department for Health and Education will review the impact of terminating the bursary programme and consider how to attract students to this profession. The Society of Radiographers recently developed an apprenticeship standard at degree level to provide another entry point to this profession, and I believe this is exactly the right approach. The next generation of industry professionals can learn and earn on the job, but sadly the Institute for Apprenticeships offered a funding band of around £19,000 for the programme's delivery, and given the high-tech and expensive infrastructure needed to support it, this level of funding is deemed insufficient, and so we'd urge the Institute of Apprenticeships to carry out a review of the scheme and ensure we have the right funding requirements. During an APPG for radiotherapy evidence sessions, the current tariff system came up again and again. The fact that the tariff is paid per fraction. Clearly, if you've got new technology which is going to reduce the number of fractions, you may have a perverse incentive which may discourage the use. Earlier this year, the APPG for radiotherapy, we all visited a lecturer in West Sussex who are pioneering the future of advanced radiotherapy technology, including the MRI LINAC machines. And ironically, West Sussex does not, however, have a single LINAC machine, either the MRI version or even the standard version. And so many of my constituents are travelling as far as London and Brighton for their treatment. And I've heard from them many time and time again, and from charities, including CancerWise, who are based in Chichester, just how gruelling these daily journeys are. And you know, many of the adjacent counties do have this capability, and actually that's why I started this journey, trying to make that case for my constituents. It's also worth highlighting that £130 million was invested during 2016-17, and that upgraded and replaced machines right across England's cancer centres, and that's the largest investment for 15 years, so we'd like to thank the Department of Health for that investment. It was very welcome. However, we are concerned that in the long term the equipment may not be maintained unless there's a rolling fund. It seems like these budgeting, the way we budget this is stochastic, and we know that these things will have a life as they're all new. Perhaps now we could plan for when they're old and ensure that there's a rolling budget in place. We've mentioned IT. That's absolutely vital that we have a network, the latest network, to ensure that all of the constituent parts are interconnected. Radiotherapy is the most incredible resource and is involved in 40% of cancer cures. As a treatment, it is cost-effective, taking up just 5% of the cancer budget, whilst treating 50% of cancer patients. But it needs a bigger voice, and I'm grateful to my colleagues on the APPG for securing this debate and allowing us to give it just that voice. I also wanted to take the opportunity to thank the NHS staff who deliver this phenomenal service across our country. The changes we're discussing today could save many, many more lives, and Britain has always embraced innovative technology, so I've no doubt that advanced radiotherapy and integrated IT networks will be the standard of the future. The question for all those suffering with cancer is merely when.